Also, guten Morgen alle zusammen. Ich freue mich, dass ich euch da eine kleine Präsentation über Premium Spices, unsere Produktionszonen, unsere Farmerkooperativen machen kann. Es wird mehr eine Dia-Show geben und ich werde einfach ein bisschen dazu sprechen. Wir haben nicht so professionelle Präsentationen vorbereitet. Ich selber heiße Jürg Brand, ich bin Geograf, habe 30 Jahre in Madagaskar gewohnt und bin eben auch der Gründer der Firma Premium Spices, wovon wir jetzt sprechen. Ihr seht hier, wo auf Madagaskar wir aktiv sind. Wir haben hier die Nordhälfte der Insel. Unsere Hauptbüros, Headquarters sind da in Antananarivo, der Hauptstadt. Unser historisches Aktivitätsgebiet ist hier oben an der Ostküste in Mananar. Wir haben auch Produktionszonen hier, gerade schauen, hier in dieser Zone, Aniburano heißt das, und auch ganz auf der anderen Seite oben in Ambans, wo wir den Kakao machen. Vielleicht eine kurze Einleitung, wie das Ganze begonnen hat. Das hat begonnen in einem Umweltprojekt, Biosphärenreservatprojekt von Mananar Nord, wo ich damals technischer Leiter war. Diese Zone sieht etwa so aus, als Landschaft, so eine sehr feuchttropisch Landschaft, wunderbare Gegend am Indischen Ozean mit tropischem Regenwald, mit Landwirtschaftszonen, eben mit Küste, Korallenriffen und mit traditionellen Dörfern. Der Zugang in die Region ist extrem schwierig, was eben auch ausmacht, dass diese Zone noch einigermaßen erhalten blieb und auch noch sehr traditionelle Dörfer und Produzenten aufweist. Ihr seht hier so eine kleine Karte der Zone von Mananar, wo dieses Biosphärenreservat sich befindet. Das Dunkelrote sind tropische Regenwälder, die sind eingekreist mit der grünen Linie. Alles, was darin ist Nationalpark. Die Dörfer, die drumherum sind die Dörfer, wo wir aktiv sind mit dem Vanilleprojekt. Und ihr seht auch das Dunkle, der Indische Ozean hier, und das Helle, die Korallenriffe, und dann das Rosa, alles was rosa drumherum ist, das sind diese Landwirtschaftsgebiete, wie auf dem vorherigen Slide gezeigt wurde. Das Ganze begann eigentlich damit, dass wir, um den Regenwald zu schützen, den Bauern Alternativen aufzeigen wollten, wie sie mehr Geld verdienen können, damit sie eben nicht Regenwald abholzen müssen. Und das haben wir dann im Jahre 2002, also vor 20 Jahren, haben wir das begonnen mit einer Gründung einer ersten kleinen Kooperative. Diese wurde von Slow Food Italien unterstützt damals. Und mit dieser kleinen Kooperative wollten wir Vanille im Direktverkauf vermarkten und so ein höheres Einkommen schaffen für die Farmer. Das funktionierte einigermaßen, blieb aber immer auf kleinen Mengen und somit auch auf kleinem Impact, was eben die Entwicklung der Zone betrifft. So I continue in English? Okay. So, because the volumes and remained quite small, we started in 2005 a new collaboration with PRONATEC. And with PRONATEC, we decided to scale up, to have larger cooperatives, and mostly to certify organic and fair trade our products. This led to this started on a small level as well. We started with about 500 kilo of vanilla, but from then on, it increased every year in quantity, in quality, and in diversification of products. So what I would like to do now with you is to take you on a journey in the 3 different sites where we produce and the different products we have. So we have here vanilla. These are our products now. Vanilla, cloves. These are freshly harvested cloves, which are dried on the ground. This is turmeric and ginger slices, cinnamon, and cacao. Now let's go on this little journey which I prepared. We start on the cacao site. So the cacao production area is this one up here in Ambanza. The travel from Antananarivo to Ambanza on the national road takes about 2 days. This is a national road. You see that these are small roads, and after 2 days you arrive in the valley of Sambirano. This is the production area of cacao from Madagascar. Cacao is grown only in this area. Very fertile soils, and from this valley in Sambirano with the village of Ambanza, there are small roads through plantations going to the villages, like this one. You are here in a cacao plantation with shade trees and understory cacao, and sometimes also a little bit of coffee. In the villages, we have about 10 villages where we work. In each village, we have a group of farmers, producers. The producers in this area need a lot of social and organizational support. They are absolutely not used to any form of organization, of working together. And it takes a lot of investment, a lot of time, a lot of explanations, especially for how a cooperative functions and how organic rules are applied and how forms have to be filled. Madagascar is an oral society. They almost never write down anything, and all type of paperwork which is needed for certification is kind of a strange thing for them. So it takes a lot of time to get them there. So this is a farmers group in a village. Every farmer has its own fields with its cacao trees, and the biggest bunch of farmers sell the cacao fresh to the cooperative. They harvest it, they open it, and the fresh, I don't know how to say it in English, the fresh pulp or whatsoever is given to one person in each village which does the preparation. Traditionally, they do it in boxes covered with banana leaves and some jute bags. And so this is an example of a local woman which is transforming the cacao in this village. With the premium, with the FLO premium, you can see it a little bit written on the uppermost box. With the FLO premium, we were able to install for them a little bit another technique with the cascade boxes, where you can drop the fermenting cacao from one box to the other until it's completely fermented. This is one which has already worked for some years. This is one under construction. And also with fair trade premiums, there are drying areas which are constructed and made in order to have a better drying of cacao. Then once it's prepared, it is delivered in our site in Ambanza, where our own employees sort it out and pack it into exporting box. See the weighting and the how do you say that, sewing, and then it's packed in a truck, and it's transported all the way up to the most northern point of Madagascar, to a city called Diego Suarez, where it's packed, where it's exported in containers like that. The truck transport from Ambanza to Diego Suarez takes another 2 days, because roads are extremely poor and it doesn't work during the rainy season. So we can bring it up only about 9 months per year. So this is the site, our newest site, which is in Ambanza. We can go now to the second site, where we produce take some time. Okay. So we come back down, go through Antananarivo, because there's no road going around, only go there and come back the same road. And then we go down here to this area close to the harbor town of Tomasina in Arivorano, where we produce ginger, cinnamon, and turmeric. Until the village of Arivorano, there are roads where you can go by car. And in Arivorano itself is the headquarters or the storage rooms of the Mitsinsu cooperative, which you see here on a rainy day. It rains a lot in these areas, in these humid tropical areas. And from then on, from Arivorano on, the best way to reach the villages is by local boats on the river system. So these are metal boats where people go to the villages and where products also are brought down to the storage houses of the cooperative. In each village, in this area, we have about 15 villages. In each village, there is a farmer group of about, this can vary from 15 to 30 people who are part of the cooperative. Each village has a local president, a local controller, and the different village groups then all together form a cooperative in a legal sense. This is one of the village groups, except these two guys, which are from PRONATEC. The turmeric and the ginger are ginger plants, both of them, a little bit different varieties. They are planted, and when after about 9 months they are harvested like that. You dig out the roots. So you have these leaves are turmeric leaves. The ginger is quite similar, and then you dig out the plant and you take away these roots, which are quite similar for ginger and for turmeric, only the color is not really the same. It is then washed a couple of times, several times, sometimes already in the field, sometimes at home. Each farmer does that by its own. Then it is sliced. It is a little bit a pity because it's a projection thing. It looks brown, but it is a flashing orange turmeric, and it is sliced by hand. Each farmer or each woman slices it with a knife, as it's shown here, and then you come up with. Oh, yeah, this is just to show the difference between ginger on the left side and the turmeric on the right side. One grayish white and the other one orange. And then you have this freshly sliced turmeric, which then is dried out first in the sun until to a certain degree. If it's rainy weather or if it's already quite dried, you continue drying it inside their homes. You see here a traditionally local hut with vegetal walls and vegetal ground, and also vegetal roof. The whole building is made with vegetation, vegetal parts. The same cooperative also has cinnamon plantations. You see here the cinnamon tree, and this is quite easy when you need it, and when the poles are already quite big enough. You just take off the bark with a knife and you dry it in the sun, and then it's all like that. We also have with the cinnamon part, we for now about 5 years we reforest each year 15,000 cinnamon trees with the cooperative. Even if harvesting the cinnamon tree is not destructing them, even if you cut the wood down, and within 3 years it completely regrows and you can reharvest. So this is building up a production base which gets bigger and bigger for the local farmers. The products are then brought to the warehouse of the cooperative. You see here some ladies and men who brought the products in the bags which we distribute them. It is then of course controlled by the cooperative employees, which you see here. They control if humidity is right, if it's sorted out right, if it looks good, if foreign materials are inside or whatsoever. Everything under the control of the farmer himself, who controls the whole process. Then it's weighted here and of course paid. It's stored then in the local warehouses of the cooperative in Aniburano itself, and then again packed in other bags and transported to Premium Spices in Tamatave in the harbor city. This is just to show that the farmers, of course, they get the local product price, which is sometimes changing, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less, but it does not have an enormous fluctuation. For the organic material which we buy, we add up to that an organic premium. And of course, as everything there is also fair trade certified, they have the 15% of FLO premium with which the cooperative can undertake activities like here. Drinking water wells in the villages. There were about, I think, 15 wells in the villages. In each village, a well was constructed. The cooperative also built storage facilities. They built these houses, and further down there are some more storage facilities which they built with the FLO premium, like this one, for instance. And then the product is brought on a truck to our warehouse in the harbor city of Tamatave, which is this one, where our own employees of Premium Spices sort it out again and pack it in exporting bags with here etiquettes and stuff like that. And then it's charged in containers and exported. The export time from Tamatave to Hamburg, for instance, takes up to 7 weeks. So it's a long journey, and PRONATEC basically does not all the time know where the containers are. So it's even exporting is an adventurous thing. Now, time-wise, okay. So I want to show you now the trip to our, let's say, historic and zone of Mananar. So as you see, Mananar is up here. We have made the trip till Aniburano for ginger, cinnamon, and turmeric. Then brought it to Tamatave, harbor city. And now we have to drive up all the way this coast. A normal road goes up to here, and from here starts a track which only Land Rovers and stuff can make. It is a very difficult access. I said it before. So that is, of course, the images are nice situations. It's not always like that, but it's very often like that. So you need good cars. It takes a lot of time. It takes about 3 days from the harbor city to go to Mananar, where our headquarters are. You have to pass rivers. There are no bridges, or not many bridges. You have sometimes to tear the cars or dig them out, especially in the rainy season. Or you drive through riverbeds, or, well, this is actually a national road. So in English terms, a highway. In the national classification, this is a highway. But of course, it's more a riverbed than anything else. But then the traveler which goes up there is rewarded in Mananar by a landscape which is absolutely beautiful. It's a vanilla area. You have these incredible beaches where nobody is except the villagers and some fishermen. And you have these landscapes which I showed before, composed of some paddy fields, and then slightly rolling hills covered with clove trees and vanilla fields, and more up in the hills than the tropical rainforest, which is protected by the national park. The name of the area in Malagasy, in the Madagascar language, is Analanzirufu, which means clove forest. So traditionally it has been a forest of cloves, which is still harvested. Clove is a big tree, getting up to 15 meters. You see here the little cloves which are harvested on the big trees, and then dried out in the village on mats. You see here the freshly harvested cloves, which are still green, rose green, and then they become more brownish when they are completely dried. When you go through the villages in November, December, you have a clove cloud everywhere. It's very perfumed, and at the same time they do vanilla preparation in their homes. So you have sometimes vanilla perfume, sometimes clove perfume. It's an extremely nice period to travel through the villages. Apart from the clove trees and forests, you have these vanilla plantations, which you see everywhere in this area. Vanilla is an orchid. It grows on supporting plants. So you see all these vanilla stands are on a plant which is with like poles. They plant it, and the vanilla orchid is wrapped around, and it grows around. Again, you see how we are organized in this area. Sorry, I just have to look a little bit on my sheet. So You see again the area with the national park, with the villages around the park, with the sea, and we are organized. This is one of 3 cooperatives with which we work in this area, the Coman cooperative. You see that they are composed of about 43 villages. The total number is maybe 800, 900 farmers. They are also organized in let's say geographical subunits, which are usually municipalities, in order to trace the sourcing. Of course, we cannot trace every single person, the product of every single person with 800 persons, but we can divide it in geographical zones where it comes from. So a cooperative, a typical cooperative like this one, has about 50 villages, 900 people, 1 legal structure, which is the cooperative. This is a group of villages in Antsirabe. Also here, we are organized a little bit everywhere the same. In each village group, you have a local president and you have a local controller, and all of them are then brought together in the cooperative where they have a board. So this is a local farmer group of Antsirabe, vanilla and clove farmers. The main event of the cooperative in the year is the annual assembly. You see here people of another cooperative, of the COPPVM, coming together to join the general assembly. As you can imagine, if you have 700 or 800, 900 members, this is quite a big thing which is happening. People are first registered in order to check if enough people are there to reach the 50% quota which is needed to take decisions. Then the board presents activities, presents budgets, decisions are voted, how for instance, they want to spend their receipts, or what they earn, how they spend their FLO premiums, how they plan the future. So you see, they want to buy some piece of land. They build a cooperative house on that, and then they have a current expenses like internet and functioning and so on and so far. The people who work for the cooperative are not professionals. All the functions in the cooperatives are filled by farmers themselves, who do it on a part-time base, and they get some daily money for the work they do. Then the board is voted every 2 years. Here you have the ballots in vanilla boxes. So they vote, counted, and the new board is then presented to the assembly, general assembly. And at the end of every annual assembly, there is a big party. Everybody eats together. Huge amounts of rices are cooked, and everybody then eats together. At this occasion, also 3 or 4 cattle are slaughtered and eaten completely, and a lot of local beer is drunk as well. Maybe some information on the vanilla process. So you see here that it's a typical vanilla plantation, which is quite dense. At a certain moment of the year, there are little how you say that? Huh? Buds, exactly. Little buds coming out of the orchids, which are hanging down. Every every one of these, each one of these buds then gives a flower. With the flower, you see that it's really an orchid. But as vanilla has been introduced to Madagascar, they are not fecunded naturally. So this has to be done manually. So for each flower, the pollen and the stamp has to be brought together with a little spike. And so each vanilla pod has had a manual fecundation in the field. Here you see it in our own warehouse, but this is an extremely long work, which is done basically 2-3 hours at sunrise by women in the fields. Then you see here the dried flowers. When they are fecunded, the flowers dry out and the pods start to grow, and in the end they become bigger and bigger, and maybe 7-8 months after, they have about 17 to 20 centimeters long. They are 17 to 20 meters long, and they can be harvested. You see, when they are ripe, when they are mature, they get a little bit yellowish to the tip. This is a sign that now the vanillin content is high enough and that it can be harvested. You see here a stamp. These little wooden sticks, they have metal sticks. Each farmer, or most of the farmers, have a stamp with their initials. As long as the vanilla is still green on the orchid, they stamp some of them, not all of them, but some of them, and the letters are then written in the vanilla pod until the end, until the export. And so you can check if it's really their product, if it's somebody else, if they mixed it up, if somebody stole something, because vanilla stealing with the high prices as they are now is a big problem in the area. Then at harvest, we organize the collection. Here you see farmer women who bring their green vanilla in bags or in bags to the collection point. There again, of course, our employees control it, split it up in mature vanilla beans and in less mature vanilla beans, because the treatment is not the same. And then, of course, people are paid. You see here, this is the biggest banknote of Madagascar, and you see how much he gets. Vanilla prices have gone up incredibly high, and of course farmers are usually happy when they receive all that money, and they use it as they judge it right. You see here a traditional hut of a vanilla farmer who sells quite a lot. So he invested in plastic flowers, in video, in loudspeakers, in decoration, and so on and so on. Other people invest in more production. This is another farmer who constructed a wooden boat to do transports. We use that boat also for vanilla transportation to Mananar. And of course, this is a more sustainable way of investing the. Then the vanilla has to be transported to our factory in Mananar. It is, as I said, split up in different qualities, split up, of course, according to the production area and also according to the certifications we have. And then the green vanilla has to be heated in water of about 60 to 70 degrees for about 3 to 5 minutes. It is dipped in, and after the heating in this water, we use these this basket exactly to dip it in the water. You can see that here, and then it is immediately poured into a large wooden box, which is laid out with these blankets, closed and left for 48 hours to sweat. After 48 hours in this box, it comes out to the sun, and it has become brown like that. But it's still large like a green vanilla bean, large like that. And then for about 1 month, every day the vanilla is brought out to the sun for 1 hour, wrapped back in the blanket, left another hour in the sun as a package in the blanket, and then they put it back in the box where it stays until the next day. This for 1 month, every day, out, in, and then it becomes less and less humid. You see here the vanilla are already much finer. And in the end, when the sun drying is over, it is stored inside the houses for about, or inside, in this case, of our factory, on wooden shelves like that for another about 1 to 2 months, where it's sorted according humidity, quality, certification, and stuff like that. It is then stored again in wooden boxes, but laid out with paraffin papers, where it is what they call the period of stabilization. Vanilla needs a long time to be stabilized in order that it will not degrade once it's exported. It's then sorted out according qualities, according lengths, according certificates, according cooperatives, and so on, and made ready for exportation. You see here, this is Bio-Swiss certified vanilla of the Comam cooperative from the Zone 1, and the quality is fondu. This is the most mature vanilla, which already opened up and has the highest vanillin contents. It is then packed to boxes and flown to the capital by plane, because with vanilla and the high value it has, it is impossible to take these mud roads which we've seen before. So that's what we have on vanilla and mananar. Now, just as a conclusion, where we stand today in 2022, as you've seen, it's after 20. The company now exists for 20 years. And we can say that we are solidly implanted in Madagascar. We have 3 production zones: Aniburan, Mananar, and Ambans. And with the headquarters in Tana, we have 3 sites where we are active. We have a close and exclusive collaboration with PRONATEC, which helps us to develop our work with the farmers. We have increased quite a lot the quantities we can export, and also the quality which we export. See here the examples of turmeric and vanilla. You see also here some numbers. In a mean of the last couple of years, we export about 20 tons of vanilla, 40 tons of cloves, 35 tons of stems, clove stems, which is a little thing behind the clove, slices of ginger, slices of curcuma and cinnamon, 30, 120, 110 tons, and about 200 tons of cacao. everything organic certified, most or some of it fair trade certified. So these are the numbers which we export now. We have also diverse certification with our cooperatives. We are the base one is the European Union and US organic certification, but we also have for most of the farmers Bio-Swiss organic and Naturland. All of our cooperatives are fair trade certified, and one of the cooperatives is now also rainforest certified. We improved, I think, quite a lot or we invested quite a lot in clean materials, which we tested for pesticides, for other things, in packing, in preparation tools, in transports. As you've seen, the transport is an issue because you need cars which do not break down every 5 minutes. And we also invested in solid infrastructures. You see here our own plant in Mananar, which we built, which the company built itself. This is the office of the. We have a warehouse in the harbor city of Tamatave, where we store cloves, everything which goes by maritime transports, like cloves, cinnamon, ginger, and turmeric. We have a warehouse in Ambans for the cacao, and I think the most important asset we have is the human capital. We have 5 cooperatives which are solidly working with us for now 20 years, even if it's never easy, and the whole paperwork they have to do is not easy for them. You see here one of the vanilla cooperatives, their headquarters. You see the second vanilla cooperatives and the house they built on the piece of land we have seen before. You see here the Mitsinzo cooperative, and this is a picture of the cacao cooperative. This is really our main asset that we have in each region, a solid and professional cooperative. You see here the members which are certified in our cooperatives. The 3 blue one, COMAM, COPPVM, and CPVM, are vanilla and clove cooperatives. Roughly, what does it make? Roughly 1,700 farmers. CPCs with 200 farmers is the cacao cooperatives, and Mitsinzu with 450 members is cinnamon, ginger, and turmeric cooperative. Of course, our asset is also that we have employees of the company who sometimes work already these 20 years. We have a very little turnover of people, so that once they enter the company, usually they rest for the rest of their lives. People in cacao, people in turmeric, people in Tamatave, and people in the vanilla plant in Mananar. And of course also we have professional managers who are happy to work there. This is the head of the Mananara plant. And so today, after 20 years, we can say that with the cooperatives, with PRONATEC, with PREMIUM SPICES, we sit in the same boat. It's mostly sunny, but sometimes not. And I think it's we are happy to be here, happy to have been invited and given the occasion to present a little bit what we do in Madagascar. Thank you.